Thank you very much for the invitation. This is the only word in Estonian language I know, but I found it on Google Translate, I must be honest. But I don't not have totally a positive presentation, so I try to start with Estonian language. The program I'm going to tell you is something, a little short introduction of what I'm doing, why I'm here, the prejudges of the Dutch on Baltic region, my view on Estonia, and some concrete suggestions for action. What I did in the past is I ran a campground, bungalow park, apartments, some leisure park for 8 years in the south of the Netherlands. You see some facts and figures over here, and afterwards I did nearly the same as Christina, but then also in the Netherlands running a regional tourist board. So sometimes when we talk about marketing and development on tourism things, we know what's going on. But just for your information, I'm now employed by Recron. Recron is an association of over 2,000 entrepreneurs in the Netherlands. It starts off with only campgrounds, but now also outdoor companies, amusement parks, swimming pools, wellness, etc. are also members of Recron. Why I said it in this way, I come up to that later. But the goal of the association is the collective and individual interest of all the entrepreneurs who are sometimes on a local level, but also sometimes on a national level. Together, the entrepreneurs, the majority of the turnover in our leisure sector are made by our members. Like I said, not only campgrounds and apartment bungalow parks, but also amusement parks, outdoor, etc. To give you a view of the economic meaning on tourism in the Netherlands, now I heard this is 73, 37, turning it around, I'm sorry. So it's a very important sector for the Netherlands, not only in meanings of money, but also in meanings of employment. And that's growing and growing and growing. We discovered that sometimes we have done 50 years after World War II on building a structure called the leisure industry in the Netherlands. Sometimes, this is my first visit to Estonia, but I've been to a lot of Eastern European countries before. There's a kind of clash, because what we have to do it in 50 years, and sometimes I get the feeling you have to do the same in 10 years. And it's interesting sometimes visiting Eastern European countries. Now, mainly at the start of the internet, leisure industry is in a transaction period, changing very, very rapidly. I come up to that later, but because of internet, everything is very transparent nowadays. And customers can say what they want. And in the past, it mostly was the brochure of the entrepreneur or the brochure of the tourist office. They hope that's right. But nowadays, it's not only sending the message, but also getting a feedback on the message you sent. And that's very interesting, because the consumer, in my point of view, is more and more in charge. And the entrepreneur is the translator of what he hears. Of course, like Christina also said, in the Netherlands we see it's a growing sector, and mainly also because other sectors are going down. The Dutch government is glad that tourism is going good, when the weather is also going good. Monica at the front and me are also a member of EFCO, it's the European Federation of Campground Organizations. I must say you're observer, if I'm right. I don't know if there are entrepreneurs around here who has their own campground, but I do not think I surprise you. Yeah, that most of the campgrounds are in France. You don't need to point down the figures, but just to give you a total overview, we found out there are 65 campgrounds, but you don't know, have to be sure what is a campground. It's nearly the same as in Latvia and in Lithuania. Most of the campgrounds are around the Mediterranean Sea, of course. But I think that's a challenge. Why I do it in this way? We also found out in that European association, as we are a member of, what people want to pay to be on a campground. I don't think I'll surprise you that most of the majority of the payment is in a country like Italy. You can see the figures behind me. I did not have the figures of, I have to be honest, our colleague from Finland collect these figures, but we were not sure about the large amount of campgrounds that we had the right figure of Estonia. We figured it out, it was 22.5 euro, but that means it is half the price as people pay when they go to, for instance, Italy and sleep one night on a campground. I also pointed out the goals of the European Federation. Normally when you run a campground in the Netherlands or in Estonia, it's far, far away what happens in Brussels. But it's going to be more and more and more important that the national associations join together when they have an argue, positive or negative, with the European Commission. You join together and make it good for your members, for your entrepreneurs. The same associations, of course, assist for hotel managers or other leisure sectors. This is the aim of the European Association. Everything what's important for entrepreneurs, we do that on a European level. Oh, I've got the flags, I'm sorry. That was a very quick start of my presentation, a kind of introduction, but now I come to the main part. Because I think that in a lot of Eastern European countries I visited, there's a large underestimation of the use of camping industry. In the Netherlands we saw that when people are young, starting 15, 16 until 25, they start to be on a campground. And when they are growing older, having kids, they skip from a campground to a hotel. So we see in the old European countries that it's very important for hotel business. There's also camping business in the same country, because that are your new guests for 10 years later. And when they grow old, we see mainly in this region, then they come back, for instance in campers or hotels again. And then you get satisfied customers. And then you get satisfied customers who want to come back and to tell their experience in, for instance, as a party. The other underestimation is the importance of having sufficiently good campgrounds, because you spend 22 or 44 euros on a campground. But from research of the Chamber of Commerce in the Netherlands, so these are figures from the Netherlands, not from Estonia, the economic impact of having a campground is 4 times as high. When you spend €1 on a campground, €4 are spent in the region. And that's also very, very important. Christina talked also about low-cost carriers coming to Riga or Tallinn. I think that's very interesting for people who produce beer, but that's not so interesting for the economic impact of the region. So it's very important that they know where they're going to, and they're spending money in the region. That's very important for SME companies and other companies, not only in Tallinn, but also from the outside. Why Dutch tourists don't go to Estonia? Don't throw tomatoes to me, okay, they think, I wrote down, they think there's still the Iron Curtain hanging here. They have a blanco or a grey vision on Estonia. So the tourist board had a lot of work to do. That's totally not the case. Totally not. Everybody who has been here has a very positive and enthusiastic story about the Baltics. But people who have been here have things who are standing there. They think negative. They think it's is a Soviet province. It isn't, but they think it is. And the other example is that there are, in my opinion, I hope I'm not right, but in my opinion, that there are no real USPs. At the lunch we're talking about local food. That could be maybe USP, but there are not real USPs. Yesterday I came with Estonian Airlines to Tallinn, and I took this guide. I borrowed it. I bring it back when I fly back tomorrow. Don't worry. But I think you know this guide. And when people see this picture, on which country you're thinking of? Thank you. Good answer. No, it's not France, it's Holland, to be honest. Originally, tulips are from Turkey, I thought, but everybody thinks on Holland. When you see the Eiffel Tower, everybody thinks of France, etc., etc., etc. What's the USP of Estonia? Maybe you know, but Dutch customers don't know. So maybe together we can find out what kind of USP and work on that, because I think it's very, very important. Christina found one SBSS, I thought, a television program, but there are not much television programs on Estonia or Baltic states on Dutch television. I think that's going to be more and more important to make a choice and invest in that, and make a combination of television programs and the translation of that to the internet. I put down the words too far away. It isn't. It's 2 hours flying. It is not far away. But I meant that the distance between Amsterdam and Tallinn is far more away than the distance between Tallinn and Amsterdam. So they think it's far away, but it isn't. For your point of view, the border of Czech Republic is 600 kilometers from the border of the Netherlands. But Dutch people do not care to drive to Italy. It's twice as far, but they think Czech Republic is far away. This is between your ears. I want to tell you something about the way Dutch tourist books. In the morning, interesting presentation on the UK. They also talked about TripAdvisor and other review sites. In the Netherlands we got Sover, it's nearly the same. This is for camping industry and this is for hotel industry. What's going to be more and more important is the kind of review sites where people who have been here, who think they have been here, put their opinion, I'm sorry, about a hotel, a campground, a city, a restaurant, etc., on the internet. And if it's true or not true, people who want to go to Estonia think that is true. So it's going to be more and more important that you have positive reviews on your hotel given by guests who have been there. In the Netherlands, the system is 5 years old already. And right now you can see when you got too much negative reviews, the price going lower, the quality is going lower, the occupation is going lower in your hotel. So be aware when tourists come from Belgium, France, UK, etc., that the reviews are going to be more and more and more important. This is the main booking engine, booking.com, I think you already know, for the Dutch market. I put some other ones down here like Expedia, and they combine it more and more with review sites. I also put down the logo of Vacances Soleil. Maybe you know the logo of the cycling tours of Tour de France, but that's just an example of a company who places tents or large chalets in countries like Estonia. So people don't have to drive through Poland, far, far away they think, and their accommodation is already here. So they rent an accommodation, come by plane or come by the ferry, and everything is organized over here. And those kind of accommodations going very, very good, and people want to come. Next question the tourist authority asked to me is the way they travel. you can divide it into two parts, the way they physically travel, we call it vacation, but more and more important is coming the way you travel before you travel. And you travel on the World Wide Web. I also said that it's going to be very important the way reviews are be found in on your website. But more and more for regions which they don't know, they're going to find information on the internet. So it's very important that also the embassy, but the tourist office in the Netherlands from Estonia has good consumer-made information about Estonia. I also mentioned the word Poland. If it's true or not true, they think it's a large country, it's very difficult to drive through. So why do you not come to the Baltic states? Because I have to go through Poland. Maybe it's a reason to go to take a chance and to make an arrangement with ferry companies and go by boat from, for instance, Kiel to this region. I also pointed down the logos of social media, and it's going to be in the old part of you, it's going to be very important to be on the very active, sometimes aggressive way to be on Facebook, to be on Twitter. Those are the main very important social media where younger people think it's true what they find there. Joining. I also already gave an example of a ferry boat and make arrangement with a ferry boat to come to your hotel. But it's also very important to join together. Monica is representative of the Association of Campgrounds. You can't make it on your own as a hotel or as a campground or as a bed and breakfast. When you want to enter a market like the Netherlands, it's very important you go there as an association. You have more money and you also can give alternatives when they don't like your hotel or campground. The main goal is to get them into Estonia. We talked about the USP already. I'm curious what's coming out, but it's very important to have kind of icon for Estonia in the future when you want to make your entrance into the Dutch market. Special interest, I think that's a very large chance for Estonia, not to give general information. That's a start. For instance, the example on the magazines and the television program, that is for general information. But when you have, and that's your main goal, of course, as an entrepreneur, when you want to have new guests, the best chance is to work on special interests and make choices. Go on fishing or cycling, etc. I've got an example of that, of course. Well, the other two things you already know. I think this is the written in red, for me, the main, most important sentence of my presentation. From supply-driven to demand-orientated. In the early days, when there was no internet, my mother, sometimes at home or when there's something to be celebrated, she talked to other ladies and she decides where we as a family went to on vacation. 90% of the vacations in the Netherlands, what's the decision where to go to? The female part of our society decides. Only men decide when, and the other things are decided by women. Those days are for a large part are over, and nowadays that thing is taken over by reviews. But the people who read the reviews and decide if it's true or not true are mainly women, and then you get the right connection between you and your potential customer. Now, the ferry boat I already mentioned. I said it's my first visit to Estonia. Christina also showed some figures, and it was very low on northeast and west part of Estonia. Everybody thinks Estonia and Tallinn is the same. It isn't. Go to both, but that's a challenge to make them clear, especially when they have, for instance, a caravan. go not only to Tallinn, but take a chance and go to other regions of Estonia. That's another approach, and maybe other journalists, etc., but it's a large chance, also knowing that they have to spend a lot of money in the region when they are there. Not only that Estonia is bigger than only Tallinn. These are some photos of special interest group, for instance, motorcycling, canoeing, etc., wellness, but it's another approach, another way of marketing business. Very interesting, I also talked it over with the honorary consul, is the image of Estonia. At the beginning of my speech I said it's sometimes grey, but most is white, so there's no real image. And it's very important that mainly together you make some choices. Is Estonia a part of the northern part of Europe? Estonia wants to be a part of a sort of arrangement between St. Petersburg, so it's still in the minds of tourists a Soviet province, or is Estonia one of the 3 Baltic states? I think it's very important, not only for the arrangement, but for instance, the middle example, when you are a part of an arrangement with St. Petersburg, it's also a message sending. Is that what you want to be? A part of Russia? Or for instance, the first or the third suggestion of image? And it's very important you discuss that with other associations to send the same message. Why Estonia throws away 50% of her marketing budget? You are just entered the market, I just heard. I thought you're doing that for a longer period, so maybe it's 40 or 50, that's not important, but in my opinion there's first a general marketing message, and afterwards you have to choose between several interest groups. And the most important part is not to sending the image, but the result of it is to have customers in your hotel or your campground or your harbor, etc. And you only can do that, in my experience, we did the same in Hungary and in Greece and other companies. You only can do that when you join together the associations of entrepreneurs, the tourist board, the authorities, and of course, I don't know if there's a good coordination, but also consumer associations. I wrote down one example. I'm Dutch, so I have to start talking about cycling. The country of the Netherlands is nearly as big as, or as small as Estonia. We have nearly 17 million inhabitants. As you can read, we have more bikes than we have inhabitants. I'm sorry, sometimes you find them, she has photos, she's shown us photos on bikes going to Estonia, and sometimes in Amsterdam you find more bikes in the canals that you find on the wall. 1.4 million new bikes sold every year. Last year it went up 6% higher than the year before, so no crisis in cycling. You can read the facts and the figures, of course, and my presentation will be also in the net, so I'm not going to read it to everybody, but I think it's a big challenge when you combine that and you have a very good marketing plan. I'm sure there will be some large groups of Dutch cyclists coming to here, to Estonia. But one thing is very needed. You have, of course, have the right infrastructure, have a good plan, digital information, and nowadays on UPS and other system. The information has to also be very consumer driven, and services like when your bike is broken, you had to know where you have to go to, and other suggestions. In other countries like Slovenia, we have invented the junction system. It's a very easy system, and when you use the same system as the cyclists are used to use, for instance in the Netherlands or in France, etc., and you try to have the same system here, it's far more easy for Dutch cyclists to come to Estonia. It's also needed to have a combination of overnight accommodation. So cyclists, when they want to a campground, they also want to get a shower, etc. And of course, there have to be a balanced marketing approach. Not only the internet, but it is good to be in a fair and say how nice cycling is in Estonia. Maybe one day a year, a kind of cycling event. Of course, magazines and a very active approach on social media. I want to start with some last trends in the Netherlands. We see they go often on vacation. Christina mentioned 5 times a year. I'm not doing that, but there are some people. No, thank you. But the period people go on vacation is getting shorter and shorter. They spend less money. They think it's crisis. So that's very true. We don't have the figures what Dutch people spend in Estonia at these times. But there are, when you go to special interest groups, for instance motorcyclists, then you can find out that they spend other amounts as people who go on stag parties to Riga. I put some photos in here from very luxury camping tents. I don't know if there's a special Estonia tent, like for instance a yacht in Mongolia. But in the Floriade half year ago, there was also information and a fair on Estonia, and we found this example. I haven't seen it, I must be honest. But could that be something as maybe a unique selling point for Estonia, that you present a special Estonian accommodation? Those are examples, and you can ask a higher amount for people who come and visit it for vacation than on a regular tent. People want not to drive that far. I also said the image of Poland driving through is a negative image. So make it as easy as you can. She gave the example of 2 times a day people can fly from Schiphol airport to Tallinn. Make it as easy as they can. Oh yeah, I wrote down the image of camping. It's a positive in the Netherlands, but a lot of people told me who have been camping in the Estonia that they have a negative experience in the camping on the region of Tallinn. I've never visited, but that's very important for people who come with the airplane. When the first experience on camping in Estonia is negative, and it's in the neighborhood of your main airport, that influence the rest of camping industry. Monica, I don't know if it's one of your members, but a lot of people told me this, and you could read it again on review sites. Sustainability also in your country, I found out, is getting more and more important. You have a young generation in Estonia. In the Netherlands we are a little bit jealous. Somebody told me that in the year 2040, 50% of the Dutch people are over 50 years old. Maybe it's a chance. They spend a lot, like Neil said this morning. They got time enough, so maybe it's a chance for you, and it's a stable generation. So it's a chance for you, I think, to make arrangements which can be bought by that generation. I already talked about themes. Be unique. That's getting more and more important, and that's also a kind of method to be interested for journalists. They're always looking for unique position. My compliments for the way you talk English. It's another example, but Dutch people don't know that Estonian people talk that good English. I was here this morning, And when the UK people have their presentation, nobody needed, what's it called? Headphones, thank you. Nobody needed headphones. When you talk Estonian, I was very begging for a headphone. But a lot of people think on Estonian language, I cannot understand. But a lot of Estonian people understand and speak English, so try. Make combination in arrangement. For instance, amusement park have to work together far more with hotel and camping business. So you can make total arrangement when you arrange also something on the way to travel, make it a kind of package. That's very good, and sell it by tour operators. Yeah, that's the main. Yeah, world tourism is going up, so I think it's interesting. And also, look, the best presentation this morning was from Neil. I think there are a lot of possibilities. Also talking to Monica with the young industry and young people, there are a lot of possibilities. I want to end with this picture. Leisure is not. It's a picture of me. You don't want to see that. Leisure is getting more and more not talking about my hotel or my airport, etc., but it's getting more and more a business on experience. It has to be more and more a unique experience. People go more, people want to spend more, and people tell at home what kind of experience they have had in Estonia, and those are the best ambassadors for that they come back. I wish you all, and tadan, tight, talapata. Okay, up to you. Thank you. I tried.
So, are there any questions for Arthur? Anybody?
I have a question. You mentioned that many Dutch people. I have a question that you mentioned that many Dutch people opinion about Estonia is rather grey or white. What were your first impressions when you were invited to come to Estonia? Or what was your knowledge?
Blanco. I meant Blanco. Yeah.
So maybe you will just...
No. I meant there's no... when you think about France, you see the Eiffel Tower. Or when you think about Spain, you see bullfighting. Mm-hmm. So they have an icon, they have a vision. But when I say Estonia, it's Blanco. There's nothing.
It's the same. So we will see how you will leave tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. We get up to that. Okay. So I was surprised this morning. I sleep in this hotel. I had breakfast down under. There was a great wall with all Estonian pictures, and there are 2 pictures about Spanish bullfighting. You don't understand what's going on. You be proud in Estonia and show it to tourists. Then you're going on. Thank you.
Any other questions? No? I have one question also from my side, my own perspective. Do you think it's wiser for Estonia to promote ourselves as one country in Holland or as the whole Baltic region? What would work better?
Good question. Because I think when you do it on your own, I think that is the best. Do it as Estonia, but then you have to have a lot of money. And I saw 20,000 euros. I thought
that's not a lot of money.
No. But before making that choice, you have to make a strategic choice. What kind of way people do go more and more and more. And when there's a Blanco image, there has to be first a Blanco, and you have to make a choice. And I think, as the example of cycling, you want to cycle, and then you choose in which country. But for first cycling is or fishing or etc. So make choices before. I come back, and then I visit your country, and then I gave a more concrete answer.
But thank you once more, and we have a small gift also for you. Something to take home with you from Estonia.